Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, April 28th, as we lovingly know it here as Throat Punch Thursday. Here is a look at our futures, and you can see, so this is kind of, I'm going to make this just a little bit so you don't get, so you can see past the volume bars that we've had. So volume's really a pretty big indicative tale of what may come. So on this green day, we did have some pretty decent green. We came in and then had a red day, green day yesterday, but barely. I mean, just barely. So that's not really a great tell, but what is a little bit of something to keep in mind here is we have a higher low maybe set in. So is this setting up for a bear flag? It absolutely can be. This is why it's so important to pay attention to price action and where the chart's going and not the pattern you think is coming, because we don't know the pattern until it's completed. It has to be confirmed for us to then say, this is a bear flag. This is a head and shoulders. This is a cup and handle, right? You don't know. You can see it forming and we can watch for the completion of it. But overall, we don't know until it is completed. So looking back here at this, we did come in with futures after the bell yesterday, a little bit of a surprise. So yesterday, if you were in the room, there was, there was weird. It was two leaks, Beyond Meat and McDonald's. So somebody put out some misinformation, I guess, not, or maybe just not framed in the right context regarding Beyond Meat and the McPlant burger. But then, it wasn't too long after that, we saw this from Bloomberg. It looked like they had leaked the results for Facebook, which were terrible from last time. And turns out it was not from this quarter. But that really took the mojo out of the markets when we had it going. And then there had been a lot of analysts talking. They just didn't believe that Facebook would come in with a good report. So all of that undercurrent, and then what did they do? They came in and surprised. So here's Facebook at the close yesterday. If we look here at the extended, there we go. Right, so this helped the overall market take a little leg up. We've seen Twitter, they reported this morning, getting a little bit of a bump up. McDonald's reported, apparently, Happy Meals for everyone. Caterpillar, so popped up, down. I think that they're going to end up being just fine. Again, a lot of supply chain issues for them as well. I firsthand experienced secondhand, because my brother-in-law is a welder, and they are desperate for the parts to put together to make those big land-moving machinery. So a lot of really decent earnings. We saw Lilly come out this morning, big boost up, coming in a little bit after that really big news, talking about several of their diabetes drugs, obesity drugs. They just have a lot in the pipeline. Not an earnings report, but something maybe to watch here today. Moderna, they applied for the use of the vaccine in very small children, 6 months and older. So we got that going on. Just a lot of stuff, really, right? Just a lot of stuff. MasterCard, after having Visa day before yesterday reporting big, MasterCard came in. Looks like they're doing very well. So a lot of just really big names throwing up some decent numbers. For the most part, earnings have looked pretty decent. All of that giving a lift to the overall market. Now, with this, do I think that that we're off for a rally? Nope, I'm not saying that at all. This could very easily just be a bear flag setting up. But what we'll look for today is increased volume going into huge earnings tonight, right? We have, after the bell today, sorry, I am a little under the weather thanks to having little petri dishes in the house. So we have Apple today. Hold on, I'm just pulling up the calendar if I can. Goodness, there were so many this morning. It is crazy how many there were this morning. All right, so a lot of big names coming up after the bell. Amazon, Apple, a lot of these big names yet to report. So we will get all of those after the bell. We'll see what kind of volatility we have going into those. But what I'm going to caution is, would I hold a lot overnight? No, because some of these, if they miss, it's going to really weigh on the markets, and we're having a struggle bus time as it is. Apparently the market got the frequent rider struggle bus ticket. But what we're going to watch for is increased volume and setting in the higher high and keeping this higher low. We want to close on the happy part of the candle, not the bottom. We want to close in the middle to the top part of the candle that is put in today across the indexes, and see if we can get tech to really lead the way. They've been under the most pressure. Remember, they were the ones that carried us up, like really had that banner and led the markets up. Well, they are now the first ones to say, okay, we're going back down the hill. So just kind of looking at some of those. I'm not putting out any new swing trades, but there are definitely some great plays to look at. Tesla, right? It popped over the 200 back down, but an inside candle on the low end of this. This too may set up as a bear flag. A lot of concern over Elon leveraging his or securing loans with his Tesla shares. So, investors not necessarily pleased about that. Travel, this one we've talked about quite a bit. Travel, I think that's setting up to be a very nice bull flag. And UAL, check out DAL. Love came back a bit, although much more under pressure, just where it is in the chart. J Blue is the only one really not participating very much. We have Save. This is kind of a funky looking banner, right? But nice up off of the lows. We do have earnings coming up on those, on that one. But for the most part, travel is looking pretty darn good. So we'll keep an eye on all of these. Well, maybe not Airbnb, but air travel is looking very good. And then some of the oldies but goodies, if we start to get in a little bit more trouble, looking at Walmart coming back in off of this beautiful run, looking for a move back up through the 200. The 20. And Target here resting on the 20. We'll see if we get a reversal in that as well. So some of those are just some decent names. J&J, this was on our list yesterday. I like this little tap back. We'll see if we get that push now back up to the top side. A couple of the drug companies actually started to move yesterday as well. So keep those in mind. PayPal post earnings. Keep an eye on this one for a potential bounce. Mark and I have been talking about Carvana because it seems like we always missed it to the upside. Really strong downside push, but when you pull this chart out, looks like this too might be getting ready for, it's caught some volume support from quite a while ago. This might be looking for a reversal as well. Speaking of travel, keep an eye on some of the car rental names that goes into the travel, and they have pure pricing power. That is something that many of the travel industry is looking at. They do have pricing power, and they won't have that for, I would think, not for too long, simply because people are really, they've planned those vacations. They aren't going to cancel them again. But then once the inflation, if it's not kept under control, I think people will be a lot less likely to shell that money out. So, all right, that's it for me here this morning. I will be watching those earnings after the close. Pretty excited about it. If you have any questions, please reach out. Heather C. at GivingTreeTrading.com.